Okay, just now it's 1 in the morning. It's only 6 degrees outside and we're in Scotland, and I'm in the car just now, but my camera is outside. And that's because tonight I'm doing some star photography. For the first time in a long time, Scotland has got some clear skies and there's no wind. So whenever you've ever got a night where it's a clear sky, no wind, and you can see the stars, get out there and start taking some shots. I'm beside a river just now at a place called Fishy Bridge, and I'm shooting into the sky, so you're not really seeing any of the bridge or anything like that. It's all about the star signs just the stars just now. In fact, if I open the door, you can hear the river outside. You can also hear you can also see how black it is out there as well. There's just no light whatsoever. Okay, and with my little torch, this is, well, as you can see, this is my car here, and my camera is hidden over here. I've got the Tokina 11 to 60mm on, and at the moment the camera is doing its job NR, which is noise reduction. If you're doing a long exposure, it does a noise reduction thing afterwards. And what it is it's looking up at the sky, which on this camera, even at 6,400, you can't see anything. In fact, that looks like one little star over there. Let's see if we can focus in on that. There's one star. I don't know if it's a star. I think that might actually be Mars. Now, one of the annoying things about the Nikon D300 is for you to do exposures which are longer than 30 seconds, you need to get either a remote control or what I've got, which is just a little clicker button which holds the shutter open for you. You do not want to be standing there holding the button the whole time for like a 2-minute photo. Just now I've got it at f4 and I'm shooting it for, well, I'm just experimenting to see what gives me the best shots. It's round about the 80 to maybe 300 seconds kind of shots, and I've got it at ISO 800. The Nikon D300 for some reason has a great low level noise at ISO 800 compared to some other stuff. I'll do the rest of this video inside the car because it's just really noisy out there. The other thing is, whenever you've got the long exposure noise reduction on, what happens is the shutter closes and effectively the camera takes a second exposure of the blank screen. But whenever you've got a long exposure, what will happen is you'll get noise. Even if you've got it at ISO 200, you'll still get noise, or ISO 100. You'll still get noise, and what we'll do is it takes a second exposure, which is only of a blank screen, finds all those noise pixels, and then takes that away from the original first image that you had, which is very good when you're taking night shots, so you're not getting confused between what's noise and what's stars. So it effectively just cleans out the whole image and takes away all the noise. Well, there will still be some, there'll be grain and stuff, but it won't be like colour noise that you'd get that would really confuse you with the stars. But anyway, I'll show you what the shots are looking like on the back of the camera, because that's probably finished doing its noise reduction now. Yeah, I can see it's just had its little screen on the back turn on there, and let's see if I can show you that. There, and that's the kind of image I'm getting right now, shooting up at, well, you can't see. There's my camera, there's the sky, that's the image. Look at that. So that was a 224 second exposure, f4 at ISO 800. Now, there's a reason why I was doing it there at ISO 800. Is that because I'm able to actually, that's effectively still a quick shutter speed. I am doing it at under 300 seconds, so there's not a huge amount of movement in the sky. What will happen is your image will look a little bit blurry, as you'll think it looks like your camera's moved. But if your camera hasn't moved because there's no wind and you haven't touched the camera because you're using your little clicky thing, then what's the blur is actually maybe wind in the trees or the stars moving. It's not the stars moving, it's the earth moving. So this next one I'm doing, I'm going to leave it out there for ages. I've got it ISO 200, so the lowest that the Nikon goes down to. And what I'm going to try and get a shot of is this movement in the stars. So I'm just going to sit in here, listen to the radio for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then I'll go click the button and then we'll head off. because it'll be another 6 or 7 minutes until it's finished its noise reduction. And what I will do is I will drive to a new place to maybe try and see a better shot where there's maybe even less light, or maybe there's a cool mountain range where you can see the stars moving over the mountain range. So that's what to do. The long exposure, while it's doing the noise reduction, drive to a new location. Anyway, so here's this next shot with the long exposure. When you're doing shots like this, it really is a guessing game and a practice game and a knowledge game of how long you do an exposure for. So you know how long the sky is going, because even on clear nights it can have different levels of exposure, because you can have different levels of atmosphere that you're having to shoot through. If you're up in the Arctic, where there's just no pollution, no dust, no dirt in the sky, then it will be a lot easier to get a good exposure. Meanwhile, if you're in maybe near a city, even if you're in a dark place in England, there's still a lot of dirt and dust in the atmosphere, so you have to kind of, you know, is it 200 seconds, is it 300 seconds? You know, you've got to figure that out. Also, when I'm changing down from ISO 800 down to ISO 200, I'm having to go from a 200 second exposure up to an 800 second exposure, which is like 12 minutes? Somewhere around about there, I think. So it's going to be out there for quite a while. And some camera sensors, what they do is they start to get hot while they're getting in all this light. Even though outside it's only 7 degrees, that doesn't matter. The actual sensor itself may actually start to get hot. And you might see kind of maybe purple fringing around the edges of the image at the end. So that's something to also be aware of. Oh, how scary is that? Okay, so that building which I drove up to there looks brilliantly scary and potentially very, very cool for a photo. What I'm going to use is this little flashlight here, which has got very blue light, and maybe use a bit of my car headlights, which are kind of orange, to kind of work together in making a really kind of colourful image of this building here. Well, there's the rock there and there's the building there. Almost impossible to see with this camera just now. But hopefully that, coupled with a very long exposure of getting the sky in maybe a nice kind of blurred circular sky, might look really, really cool. What I'll need to do is I'll need to turn off my car lights after about the first 2 minutes or so and stop doing any more flashing of this light, just so we don't overexpose the house, and just so we can do the full 12-minute long exposure of the sky. So the sky will look kind of blurry, but it should have a good kind of streaking pattern to it. But it's just amazing. Scotland, no wind, no rain, no clouds. It's amazing. So yeah, here's the shot. I think the camera is just probably finished doing that last shot I tried. Cool, so that's the image I'm getting of outside the building. I actually walked right in front of the building with the flashlight. But so that's it with a fairly stationary looking sky. Let's now do it with a motion sky.